If it's first, you ain't the brakes, no get you, don't let up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the game, tap, this win it is. Press you again, we're here for the first minute. Carry block, you never 60 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Oh my God, we should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
You know, I know what I came here to do, and, you know, it's my job to go and get that done.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talking Vols and my guy Boogie Bentley runs, so shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley, joined by Coach Jay. Coach Ross, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So let's talk about it. Everybody in the chat saying, Boogie, what is it? It's football. It's man, we are 10 freaking days away, boys. We're 10 days away from fall camp. Like, let that sink in. Football season's here, which, to be honest, the second that Tennessee won the national championship in baseball, football season was here. That's when we kind of changed gears and it became football season. Speaking of fall camp, kicking off on July the 31st, talk to Kaner. Eric Kane of VolQuest.com, Eric Kane of Locked On Vols, Eric Kane of the Best Hair Club. Talked to him last night. He said, let's get together on July the 31st. So Kaner's going to be in the house. We're going to go live that night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Kaner's going to come on. We're going to talk about expectations and hype. You know, it's fun because the three of us knuckleheads, we talk every day about Tennessee football. And sometimes it's fun to get a different perspective, right? Let's go out and let's grab somebody else and let's see what they have to say. And speaking of what you guys have to say, let's see what the chat has to say. Who's hanging out in the chat tonight? Lee Honda Hiltz here says, what's up, Boogie and the gang? What's up, Ball fam? Who else is here? Dustin Young is here. What's up, Dustin? Kristen Welch, Christian, good Lord have mercy. Maybe we should start over. Christopher Welch dropping those Caner emojis. I forgot we even had Eric Kane emojis, but that is amazing. Davis was the first person in the chat tonight. Says, what's up? Daniel Campbell was here bright and early. Let's see who else we got. Matt Dumit is here. Says, go Big Orange. Nicholas in the house says, yep, I'm here. Chase is here. Shane Mountain says, let's go, boys. We got a couple of super chats. Papa J for $5. Skeeter spray fee. Coach J, do y'all have skeeters? Do you know what a skeeter is, first of all? I was going to say, a couple of rednecks over here.
Is it a mosquito?
He knows.
Kind of impressed.
My dad's from the hills of Virginia originally, so I got some roots, man. I got some roots.
So he learned you a little something about skiing.
He learned me a little something.
Okay, I like it. Shout out Papa J, appreciate it, brother. Mark Wilson's been a member for 38 months, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Shout out Mark Wilson, man. He's an OG. He was around back in the day when there was no live streams, there was no videos. It was three knuckleheads talking on Skype and recording it and posting it. Mark Wilson was here at that time. Crypto Vol for $5 says Dorothy. Shout out Crypto Vol. We appreciate the super chats and the tips in the tip jar. That's what keeps the lights on around here. Robert Clark's been a member for 25 months. Shout out Robert. We appreciate it. All right, now I'm afraid I've got some bad news. We got some good news. We're hanging out talking Tennessee football. We got some bad news. There was a scheduling conflict with Shady, and it was tough, man. Shady hit me up like a month ago and wanted to come back on the channel. He said, man, I want to come on Talkin VAWLS. I want to hang out before my commitment on July the 27th. We were shooting for Wednesday. That didn't work with his schedule. So I said, what about Sunday? We were trying to make that work. He said, I think it'll work. Talked to his uncle last night. We were good to go. That changed this morning. And I get it. I understand, because I would do the same if I was in your all shoes and didn't have the privy to the full conversation. I would be saying, oh, no. Oh, is this bad news? I saw on the tweet saying that he wasn't coming on. Uh-oh. This means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing with his commitment. The first thing I did was hit up Coach J and we go start damage control. He's like, man, how are people going to take this? How are they going to speculate? It has nothing to do with Shady and where he's at with Tennessee. It's nothing but a scheduling deal. It's unfortunate. So hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the channel in the future. But I hit up Coach J. I hit up Coach Rice. I said, what do we do? We talk Tennessee football because that's what we do around here. So we're going to talk Tennessee football. We're going to talk a little bit of recruiting, but we've kind of hammered it lately. We're going to talk about some preseason polls that came out. We may look at some media day stuff. We're going to look at Nico Iamaleava for Heisman. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, man, because you guys, there's almost 200 people hanging out here. Almost 200 people hanging out. So you guys want to talk Vol football. We want to talk Vol football. So that's what we're going to do. Joel Certain for 10 says, question is, do you know what chiggers are? Got to go to bed. Love you Talkin VAWLS, fam. Y'all have another great one, GBO. Do you know what chiggers are, Coach?
At least out here, we call them like when you roll around the grass, playing the grass, and get all the little bites in the grass. That's what we call chiggers out here in Southern California, but I don't know if there's like a different meaning out there or something. What are chiggers out there?
Maybe I'm not even country enough because I don't know what they are. I kind of have the same definition that Coach J has.
They're small bows that normally lay in tall grass or. It's normally when you're walking through a field or something, you got on a golf course and you've hit a ball way out of bounds and you're going through.
Coach Rice.
Yeah.
If we'd be wrestling,
I wasn't calling you out, Boogie.
No, I know. You're telling me you hit your golf balls into the deep stuff. Mine are right in that clean, crisp fairway.
Right in the fairway.
Yeah,
there
like hitting
go.
off a driving range mat. That's where I play from.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, look, we're gonna talk in the words of JD Piquet. We're gonna talk a little Vol football, but what about EA Sports College Football 25? We are so close. We are so close to getting the dynasty off the ground. We got a couple more people to get in there. We're going to roll with it. Coach Rice, I know you were doing some homework.
That's the team I'm going with. That's the team I'm going with.
Wait, Miami?
Yeah.
Is Miami available?
Yeah.
They are.
They are.
Interesting.
They are.
Hey, Cam Ward, Heisman's coming. I hate to say it. Every other team, but Tennessee, that's the only team I will have mercy on. But every other team.
So Knoxville Predator Catcher. Shout out Knoxville Predator Catcher in the chat. Coach Rice is going to take it easy on you.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
What do you think about it,
Coach Jay? USC.
Yeah, we still haven't heard.
Yeah, my son selected Oklahoma, but I'm going to bring the defense, guys. I'm going to be playing with the Fighting Irish.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That's a good pick.
What do y'all think about the game though?
They
Like
got,
I like
90 defense. Coach Jay's a defensive guy, so I figured I'm going to hang my hat on defense, man. I'm going to hang my hat on defense.
For the record, everybody in the chat, almost 200 people, see both of these guys looking at ratings. My team's this good. My team's that good. I have the worst team in the dynasty, and I'm going to dominate every single one of y'all. So you're on blast.
I was this close to taking SMU. I was like this close to taking SMU. I really like playing with them. They're fun. They're fun. SMU's fun, man. They've got a defensive end that's a lot like Pierce, man. In that game, anyway, he's real hard to guard.
I was hoping that Coach Jay would go James Madison because that would have been a fun story, but that's okay.
I just couldn't get it together.
Get into it. Like if you're not excited about it,
yeah, I know. I wanted to. I did exactly what you just said. I just couldn't. Just didn't feel right, man. Just didn't feel right.
I tell you what. The best thing about NCAA though, it's not even actually the game. It's that it gives college football fans all something to do until college football, other than hopping on the best YouTube channel in the world and talking Tennessee football. It gives us the opportunity to hey, it's football. You wake up on a Saturday morning this weekend. Hey, it feels like it's Tennessee football because you get to wake up and you get to throw darts with Nico Iamaleava to Squirrel White and Dylan.
God, I love playing with Tennessee. I know all three of us are a little sad that we don't get to play with Tennessee or anyone in the league. Because when you're playing on Dynasty, I'm like, dang, man, I'm always the best with Tennessee, though, man. Like,
and the more you learn the RPOs, the more fun it gets.
I know.
And I feel like I've got the RPOs down. So it's like the person on VolQuest summed it up. It's like, hey, your default is always going to be this. You got to hit a button. So either you're handing it off or you got to hit a button. If you're going to throw it, you got to hit a button. Read option. You're handing it off. If you're going to keep it, you got to hit a button. And like that kind of registered with me. All right, the running back's always getting it. I got to hit a button if I want to change that. But enough talk about EA Sports College Football. We still have some room available on the Dynasty. Go check out the Patreon. The link's in the description. That's what I'm excited about. It was fun to see my lone name on there. I'm like, well, this is boring. And then seeing all the names start to flood in. And it's like, all right, seeing Negaval and Banjo and seeing all these people start to come in. I'm like, all right, we're about to get off to the races. Going to be a good time. All right, we're going to talk some Tennessee football. I don't know how long we're going to go, hour and a half. You guys got something you want to talk about? You guys know how to drive the show. You know what to do. But if you don't, we're going to talk. But we are going to talk a little bit of recruiting. We've hammered it. It's a dead period, so nothing has changed, but we've been talking recruiting all day, every day. And this came out yesterday. Shout out to you guys for showing up for the Christian Gas live commitment. Almost 10,000 views, almost 1,000 live viewers. We added another one in the boat right after that. I came right back. I got it. My wife's like, you just streamed a commitment. I was like, this is too big. We have to go make a video about this. Chad Timmons tweets out, Saturdays are being good to the Tennessee Vols. Last Saturday, Travis Smith. Today, Christian Gas. Will it continue? Next Saturday, Shady Hayward. Well, look at the comments over there. There's two comments right there at the top. GMAC comment says, surprise commit coming soon. Ethan Utley says, why wait for a Saturday when it's a surprise coming? All right. Coach Rice, break this down. What does surprise mean? Because to me, a surprise is not David Sanders, who has his commitment scheduled. A surprise is not Shady Hayward, who has his commitment scheduled. So what were your takeaways when you saw this? What was the first name that came to your mind?
Deshaun Breen. And then the secondly was Jaden Perlotti. Those are the two.
Let's start with Brame and kind of break down your thought process. That's the first name you spit out. So let's talk to Son Brame.
Man, he's a guy that even after he committed, we knew Tennessee wasn't going to lose touch with him. Tennessee just liked him too much. Liked him paired with Jack Van Doorslayer in this class. He loves him some Tennessee. There were several people thought he was going to pull the Tennessee trigger if Oregon hadn't thrown a money truck in his front yard and opened up the door and said, this is all yours. So I think it's two things. His girlfriend's going to play a particular deal in this, and has Tennessee not like thrown the bank at him, but maybe did a couple other things that entices him up that's not on the money level. You get what I'm saying? It increases his idea of even more playing for Tennessee. And the secret weapon we said the whole time was the girlfriend. So I really, at the end of the day, think this dude's going to be a Tennessee Volunteer. Even the Oregon mods are starting to speculate something happening.
Yeah, I my first thought was with Brame and Perlotti as well, but I kind of secretly wish it was Juan Gaston, because that would be a shocker, right? That would be like a true shocker and a surprise. So when I heard the word surprise, yeah, I thought the flip. I thought both kids flipping would be a surprise, but then I thought, who else would be a surprise? And I thought Juan Gaston would be a huge surprise, man, and what a nice present that would be.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, man. A really interesting little chirp there by GMAC for sure. James Richards, Perlotti is of all. I think so.
Should I play the clip for? I feel like every time James pops in the chat, I feel like I owe him. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. None, not one single one. T-Bag Gump says, or Josh Petty, Coach Jay. Like I see what you're saying with that train of thought, but to me, a surprise is not a scheduled commitment. A surprise is somebody that's just coming out of nowhere, which is why Jaden Perlotti did cross my mind too. But the first one I thought was Brame, because I was talking to Nelson, and it was like he was saying, man, these Oregon insiders are saying Oregon's getting a decommit soon. It's got to be Brame. It has to be Brame. And then I don't know if you guys saw Austin Price when those tweets came out, everybody immediately goes to the GQ and they're like, AP, what does this mean? And he's like, well, if you know how to read Austinese, like if you know how to read, and I feel like I'm getting pretty good. Yeah. I'm not always right, but I feel like I can kind of gauge what AP is saying. And the stuff that he put out about Brame, like at first it was, hey, this ain't over. He's going to come visit for the Alabama game. And then he puts out, don't be shocked if it goes faster than that. And he says that Brame loved Tennessee before Oregon came swinging big. He says sometimes happiness, Coach Rice, what's happiness mean? What's that mean? What happy what? Happy what? Happy life.
It's champion girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's not champion trophies, it's the champion girlfriend that's riding along with you at Rocky Top.
And picture that too, right? Coach Jay, you talking about money. It's like it's 48 hours, 24 hours out from your commitment. Tennessee's out front, and then all of a sudden Oregon's like, here's that Nike money. And you're looking at it going, man, this is like you're 17 years old and you're saying, look at how much money this is. That's tough to say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go be with my girlfriend in Knoxville. It's like, and it even seemed like maybe he doesn't commit, right? And we saw that with Nick Moore. Maybe he just pushes the thing off, but he went with Oregon, and it just never felt like that's where he was going to end up. So I immediately went to Deshaun Brame. We'll see what happens with him. I think he would be a huge addition. Obviously, Heupel, this coaching staff said he's the only tight end that they would pair with Jack Van Dorsey, so that's big as well. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. Jeff drops a $5 super chat. That's a tip in the tip jar. Shout out to you. We appreciate it, my man. Donovan's in the house. What's up, Donovan? Drops a $5 super chat. Already have Texas and Oklahoma fatigue going 8-4. Oklahoma 5-7. Can't wait to see Nico in New York. Chris Brazil will make the biggest impact. I mean, should we just call it a night? Like Donovan just summed up every talking point we have from now to the end of the show. Like,
all right, good show.
Play the outro. Let's call it. Y'all want to go play some EA Sports College Football real quick? Let's call it a night. Yeah. I asked you guys. I'm like, hey, I'm like, Shady can't come on. What are we gonna do? Y'all like play EA Sports College Football?
Play college football.
Oh man, AGR 270 been a member for 20 months. Shout out to him. Appreciate the support. If you're not a member, think about hitting that join button. We would greatly appreciate it. You can do it for $1 a month. We're about to fire up some fan call-in shows. The link goes out to Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. Before we tie a bow on recruiting and move on, like we kind of did this last year at times. How about this? You can see Tennessee's already dropped to 12th, right? They jumped up to 10th after the commitment of Christian Gass. Now they're right back down to 12th. It's going to be up and down. We'll see where they end up. But let's look at this class of 25. And Coach Jay, we'll let you go first. Give me a guy. Give me one guy in this class that it's like that's my guy. That's the dude that kind of perks my ears up more than anybody in this class of 25. And it could be personal preference. It could be because they play defense. It could be anything you want. You form your own narrative here.
I know he's going to choose.
I know who you're going to choose. So there's that.
Oh yeah, you know who I'm going to.
Go back up it real quick. Gosh, man, no, it's a really hard one, man. It's really hard. I'm gonna take Die personally. Was that who you thought, Coach Rice? Was it? Okay, yeah. Marion Die is
him, and then Lofton was next.
Yeah, and they're 1 and 1A, right? And Utley's great too. I just like the speed that Die brings. I think he's gonna have a little more natural weight that he can put on. I think you're going to be able to play him in more multiple of positions than you can with Lofton. And that speed is just killer for him, man. It's absolute killer. Hard-nosed football player, someone who can stop the run, get after the quarterback, eat up space, plays with good gap integrity. We got some good ones on this D-line, guys. So look, it's Utley, Die, Lofton. That's right on par. And I mean, we may get into our depth chart tonight. We may not, but I'll tell you what, if you go across this defensive line, it is thicker than a Snicker, and the recruiting is continuing to reflect that as we move along here, certainly.
Let me go ahead and click yours, Coach Rice.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost took that one. That's how good it is. But go ahead.
Yeah. This dude is going to be a matchup nightmare. He's just that electric with the ball in his hands. I said it on the breakdown. This dude is just an electric ball player. Get the ball in his hands in space. He's great at 50-50 balls. He's got some. I mean, look at that face. He's got some dog in him. I mean, dude, I'm looking forward to be playing. He's going to be an outside X receiver, and he's going to be one of those that he's just going to put the burners on and beat the guys down the sideline, because this dude is a touchdown just every play. You get him the ball, he has the legit opportunity. I compared him to Robert Meacham when we did the breakdown. That's how good this kid has the potential to be. A touchdown waiting to happen every time he touches the ball.
Absolutely.
Did you give yourself a little pat on the back?
I mean, scouting 101 right there.
Good point.
No, it's a beautiful thing, and that's why I build you guys up, and I love you guys, and like Coach Rice says it all the time, we're brothers, man.
Yeah.
Like we're family at this point, and it's like when I see you guys come on this channel, and it's the internet, right? And it's like, oh yeah, sure they said that, sure they said this, but you Coach Jay's hit so many home runs on the film breakdowns, and then you come on Rad Jackson, and then it was stock up from that point on. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he does, man. Like for me, like I love this class as a whole, obviously starting with George. I mean, you got your quarterback, you got the guy that you wanted at quarterback. That's the king, that's the head of the table right there, George McIntyre.
Exactly.
That's your Roman Reigns. That's your guy. And by the way, we're about to add Faison Brandon in the class of 26. Yep. We got our Roman Reigns there too. Also, we got Nico. We got Jake. Like, quarterback's never going to be a problem. Douglas Utu, like, what a surprise, man. Never a guy that I expected to be coming to Tennessee, but 53rd overall, like in the on-3 industry rankings. Like,
massive kid.
Ethan Utley, to go along with George, right? We saw both of those guys commenting on Chad Simmons, and that's led to some speculation that it's an in-state kid that they're talking about, because they're both in-state guys. But you got your best in-state player on offense in George McIntyre, and you got your best in-state player on defense with Ethan Utley. But look, Uncle Kenny told me I'm an honorary member of the Lofton family, so Boogie Lofton's in the house, and this is a different just personality wise, man, he's just such a good kid. He was such a fun conversation, great family. I'm excited to have this kid on Rocky Top and seeing his stock kind of start to rise as well. I'm excited to see what he does in his senior season. And it just, like Coach Jay said, man, you look at the defensive line, you look at what Coach G's doing, what Coach Chop's doing. How would you guys handle that? Just kind of segue away from that. Coach Chop, an analyst, right? He doesn't have an on-field position. You're not going to get rid of Coach G. Coach G can coach here until the day he decides he's done coaching football. Do you look to move Coach Chop? Coach Jay, do you look to move him into a on-field role? Other schools are coming for Coach Chop. And they're coming. They're coming after
you
the
have
season.
to or lose them. You have to or you'll lose them. You just have to. And listen, guys, these field analyst guys can coach too, man. These guys are spend time on the grass, not to pat old Coach Jay himself on the back here, but these are guys who spend a lot of time on the grass, right? And love to coach and thought long and hard before they became in the back scenes and not on the grass every day, because that's a hard decision to make as a coach. I can sit here and tell you that it's a very hard decision to make. You do not take it lightly, but you can offer a lot, man, from recruiting to film. A head coach, Coach Gardner, all these guys are so busy. They watch so much film. But when you can sit back and that can be your focus, that can be what you do when you're scouting the enemy full time, when you're scouting recruits full time, you can just be laser focused in on that. And a good one, a real good analyst can be really, really dangerous for a team. And we got one with Coach Chop. We got a certified killer back there. But guess what? Certified killers want to find their way back on the grass. And I think Coach Chop has earned his way back onto the grass.
And it's hard because where would you put him, right? It's like Coach Inge is coaching linebackers. And look, Tim, love or hate him, Tim Banks is going to be a head coach somewhere sooner rather than later. So maybe ultimately you hired Coach Inge thinking that he's your defensive coordinator in waiting. Tim Banks takes a head coaching job. You promote Coach Inge, and then you can slide Coach Chop in at linebackers. It's a good problem to have, right? It's a good problem to have. And we talk about analysts, and look, Coach Pope, he's killing it on the recruiting trail as the wide receivers coach. And then Alec Ablin slid in. But go ahead, Coach Rice. Sorry.
There's two ways, and your way is one of the ways that I've seen on a couple different, pages where Tim Banks gets a head coaching job, Inge goes to DC, and Chop goes to linebackers coach. The other one is Eckler just does special teams, and you give Chop outside linebacker. I've seen that scenario as well.
But how does that work numbers wise? Because now they're acting like you can have unlimited coaches on the field. Like, is that official?
Yeah, just ask Florida.
Yeah, Florida's got like 100.
Yeah, but you can have 100 on your staff with analysts.
Those are just the two scenarios I've seen popping up in my head. So I don't know what else they would do unless they make Rodney Gardner name-wise just the D tackles coach and Chop the outside coach and just pay him like as a coach. So
that's the thing. If you got unlimited, if you can put as many guys on the grass as you want, who cares? As long as you got the money, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then no matter what, Coach G and Coach Chop gonna get their coaching in because that's what they're doing now. Chop is getting some coaching in. He just can't be on the field come game day.
By the way, we got Robert Ayers too. That's an analyst.
Yeah, and Robert.
Like, Ayers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Shout out Robert Ayers for the follow on Twitter. What universe do we live in that Robert Ayers follows me on Twitter? Like, what world are we living in? This is the weirdest, like an alternate universe.
Robert Ayers is a beast. I've met him.
Oh yeah.
Like you kind of thought Robert Ayers was that defensive line coach in training, right? And Rodney Garner's going to. I want Rodney Garner to coach as long as he will possibly physically coach. But it's like God, you got Robert Ayers sitting there learning. You
Yeah.
got Coach Shop sitting there learning. You want to, and again, like I said, it goes back. It's a good problem to have. It's the same thing when Alex Golish got the head coaching job. That's what you want. Tim Banks gets a head coaching job. That's what you want. We're not seeing coaching turnover because our coaches suck. We're seeing coaching turnover because our coaches are freaking legit. Let me hit another super chat here. James Shrum for 5. Been playing NCAA non-stop. EA hates Tennessee. If you simulate any games, you'll find out. Shout out to James Shrum. He's in the Patreon. He's dialed in. He's ready to go. I'm looking forward to launching that thing. Man, I was doing Road to Glory, App State. Surprise, surprise. I earned the starting job, and then all of a sudden I went from starter to running back 4 in 1 week. I have no clue why. So then I was so pissed that I'm like, I ain't going to class. Then I got academic probation.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
And then suspended from the team. Suspended from the team. Oh, it was rough. It was a rough go. It was a rough go. All right, let's change gears a little bit. We got almost 250 people. I knew we needed to go live.
Awesome.
I knew you guys want to talk ball football all day, every day. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, we like right. It's go time. My poor wife. I said, when does the daughter go back to school? She said 2 weeks. I said, you know what that means? I'm out. I'll be in the office all day, every day. Let's change gears here a little bit. Want to talk some preseason stuff. Want to talk some hype, some expectation. This was VolQuest put out this article. It's not behind the paywall. Shout out Kaner. Kaner's going to be on July 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Gonna be fun. Gonna be a good time. Always a good time to get Kaner on here. Although he's getting a little too comfortable. Kaner's getting a little too comfortable around here. He insults me more than he should, and I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. That's how you know your boys is when you got the confidence to throw jabs. I like it. That's what I'm here for. Tennessee picked to finish 7th in SEC's new 16-team league. I mean, I know Kaner did a lot of work. He put a lot of heart and soul into that article, but I just want to go back and look at the numbers. 2024 preseason poll, Tennessee comes in at 7th. Coach Rice, when you see this list and you see Tennessee 7th, like just kind of break it down. What are your thoughts? You see Georgia at the top, Texas is up there, Alabama. You see the Gators at 12. Just what are your thoughts when you see that poll?
The only one that I feel that I personally pegged this at 6th in the preseason poll. I think they got it pretty spot on. Except I had us and LSU flipped and Missouri up one. That's the way I had it in my preseason poll. I had Georgia, Texas, Alabama. No, actually, I had Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee, LSU. That's the way I had it in mind.
What about you, Coach Shay? You see this poll, you see the predictions. What just instant reaction?
My instant reaction is, that makes sense, kind of. You know, I don't like LSU where they are.
No,
losing Heisman caliber quarterback, and I like the kid coming in. It was a Nuss is the kid coming in after, coming in after him. I like him a lot, but it makes sense. Look, Tennessee, you know, they're starting a quarterback with not too big of a sample pool, so I kind of get that from a national standpoint. But I think they're sleeping on Tennessee in a lot of their position groups, and we'll be getting into that maybe a little today, but definitely in the weeks to come. Yeah. So we'll talk about all that. Obviously, I feel Tennessee's gonna win out a little bit higher. You know, look in that top 10, right? In that top 10, we play 3 of those guys, right? We really just need to find a way to beat one to make it into the playoff. My humble opinion.
You in my notes again?
Yep.
I thought for sure I could let both of you guys go first and nobody would touch on that, because that's where I'm at too. Like that's my first instinct was Tennessee only has to play 2 of the 16. They're coming at 7th. They got to play 2 of the 6 teams in front of them. One is Georgia, and that's I'm chalking it up as a loss. Can Tennessee beat Georgia? 100%, but it's on the road, hostile environment. It's gonna be tough. That's my one loss. That's my one loss. That's an automatic given. But then you look at Alabama at home, and I love the matchup. As of right now, I'm picking Tennessee to beat Alabama at home. I like it. I like it. But then you look right below them, right? You look right underneath them. They play Oklahoma. Oklahoma comes in at number 8. But then you kind of slide down. They don't play A&M. They don't play Auburn. And then they play 5 out of the 6 lowest ranked teams. And I get it. It's preseason polls. But this is what, you know, what people think. This is what they believe. Tennessee plays 5 of the 6 worst teams and only 2 in the top 6. Sign me up for that all day, every day. And by the way, one of the teams you play at home with Alabama. I like it. I think Tennessee's schedule sets up beautifully.
Well, and that's the reason at the final season, at the final end of the season, I had us pegged 2 or 3. But I get the preseason rankings of what the rosters are make up. You know, Ole Miss is going to be up there because all the work they did. They had tons of people coming back. The people coming back in Texas. Well, obviously Georgia, Missouri. You have a lot coming back.
Texas, they have a brutal schedule. It is Texas, brutal.
Well, no one's is more brutal than Florida. I laugh. They're going to go 3. They're going to go 3-9 this year, and unfortunately, Napier's going to be fired.
I was going to say, don't you hate that though? That Napier's out the door. I wish he would just stay there forever, forever.
Right? But and I had some idiot Florida fan on Twitter the other day that, I mean, he literally thinks they're going to go 11-1. And I'm like, are you stupid? Look at your schedule. You literally play all the Florida teams, and then you play the SEC. Y'all are going to lose to UCF. I can go ahead and tell. They're going to. You can peg it right now. They're going to lose to UCF in Miami. They're going to go 3-9. They're going to lose. They're going to beat the 3 FCS teams, and that's it. I mean.
Yeah, I don't have Florida beating Miami the first game of the year. I know it's at the Swamp, but still in-state game. Both teams are going to show up to that. I think Miami's definitely got the talent edge. I think they got the mo right now. Look, Florida's not devoid of talent by any stretch of the imagination, but like you said, the gauntlet they have is crazy. I think they're going to need a little more than the quarterback that's sitting there right now, Graham Mertz. They got some good talent at linebacker, but once again, it's young talent at linebacker that can hurt you, especially against quarterbacks that can run around like Mr. Ward early in the season. Tennessee obviously gets Florida at home this year, so I really like Tennessee's odds against Florida in that spot right there. And by then, they could very well be a little more dejected. And if we know one thing about the Florida Gators, they tend to be one of those teams that once they get a little down, they've been known to hit the old quit button here and there. But man, looking at the Florida Gators, it just kind of reminds you of those Derek Dooley seasons with Tennessee, those those Jeremy Pruitt seasons. But we have talent, we can do well, we can win, but you just can't kind of see the forest from the trees. You're too close to the problem to see that your own house is on fire.
I was laughing real quick.
Go ahead.
I was laughing my tail off. It was a tweet the other day on 3 posted. Power 5 teams with the longest losing season records. Florida was in the top 5.
Oh wow!
Who would you at? They have 3 straight losing seasons.
But let me tell you something, boys. We're laughing, we're giggling, we're chalking it up.
We
beat them once. We beat them once.
Do that because we went through that.
So it's time to turn the page. It's time to start putting a winning streak together.
That's true.
And like Josh Heupel's 1-2 against the Gators.
That's true.
We're gonna talk about that hat. The prophecy.
4-0, Nico. Actually, he won't be 4-0.
Better be true. He's gonna be 2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. There you go. Sorry.
The prophecy better be true. Like it's fun to sit here and laugh and joke and poke and prod. Josh Heupel's 1-2 against the Gators, and that's a problem. That's a freaking problem.
That's all right, man. Nico going to be fine, man. He is the Polynesian prince that is promised, man. He on a Game of Thrones night. It's Sunday night. House of the Dragon going to come through there, flaming him up, man. Nico's going to take care of business. We'll be just fine. I saw Ron the Don's name in the chat, and I got instantly fired up and just wanted to yell about Tennessee winning. Man,
I thought you were going to pull out the guitar and play.
I almost did, man. I looked over at my phone and I saw the Hulk and Ron the Don. I was like, oh man. Ooh.
I can't wait for fan calling shows to come back just so I get to hang out with Ron the Don.
Hulk smash, baby.
Ron the Don. Oh man. What a dude. What a dude Ron the Don is. Orange
Gulag.
Orange you glad. No, glad. Orange you glad. Yeah, see, I get it. I get it.
There
Orange,
you
you
go.
glad becomes a member of the channel. Shout out to Orange, you glad. Appreciate that, brother.
Is
Think
that
about hitting.
Blackbeard's flag? Sorry, I
Is
had
that
to
what?
interrupt.
Is it?
Blackbeard's flag, like the pirate flag of Blackbeard.
It looks
Let
like
me.
somebody's stabbing an orange heart. What are you talking about?
I think that's Blackbeard's flag, like the pirate flag that he would fly from his ship. Anyone knows? Shout it out in the chat. Sorry, go ahead. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. My pirate history is not up to date. But shout out to
There you
Orange, you
go. Sorry.
glad. Appreciate it. Mark says, just joining. Is Shady not showing a bad sign? No, it's not. It's a scheduling issue. And I get it. You guys are going to speculate, and that's fine. But it's not a problem. MG Way says that is definitely Blackbeard's flag. So shout out Coach Shay. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Because Coach Shay's flying the flag tonight. He's flying the Nico flag. He's got that number 8 hat on, got that Nico Iamaleava hat. What did you think of this? Greg McElroy has pinned Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava as a surprise Heisman Trophy winner this season. Now, we've ran down the history. We've talked about Coach Jay's history. We've talked about his relationship with Coach Pearson, his relationship with Bryce, his relationship with Nico, all the connections. Why does Boogie believe what he believes? Why does Boogie come on here and spat out? Because I've got a little birdie in my ear saying, this is why, this is why, this is why. And I choose to believe that. Let's go down and take a look at Greg McElroy's comments. He says, I like Nico Iamaleava. I think Tennessee is a top 10 team. I know I'm probably a little higher on them than most. Other people are still in a wait and see mode, which I totally support, and I totally get that. I just think if Tennessee is going to be as good as I anticipate them being, that means he's going to have a ridiculous year. Coach Jay, I know your team, Nico. You've turned me into a psychopath. But look, you know what you're talking about. Coach Pearson knows what he's talking about. And you sent me the interviews. I've done the homework. I've done the research, and I choose to believe. Now, could we all be wrong? I'll blame it on you, and I'll just live to fight another day. But do you see it this year? Because to me, I see progress in 2024, and I see a national championship run and a Heisman Trophy campaign in 2025. Do you think it can happen this year?
Yeah, 100%. I think it can happen this year. We'll see how fast he accelerates it through it, but this little birdie hears songs sung to him every now and then, and the songs I'm hearing that he's taking massive steps in his off-season camps. He's been working with a couple different professionals, not because he's been sent there because he looks bad or something, just to sharpen his craft. And I've said it on here a couple times, guys. The Nico, we saw in the bowl game is going to be the Nico that's going to practice in spring. They kept him kind of under wraps behind the scenes in the spring game. We didn't really get to see too much of him. But that Nico is not the same as the Nico we're going to see at the start of the season. And that Nico at the start of the season isn't going to be the Nico we see at the middle of the season or the end of the season. So I fully believe that this offense by the end of the season will be humming at a 22 level. And I think the following year will surpass it right out of the gate and march it up. Now, if Nico catches fire early, watch out. All bets are off. Heisman Trophy, national championship are on the table. We'll see how quickly he settles into this offense. What do you think, Coach Rice?
I mean, if it's anything like me with Nico on NCAA, hey,
was that a Nico compliment or a Coach Rice video game compliment? I'm gonna destroy all of y'all. Get ready, it's coming. It is coming. Y'all about to be humble.
On the real. I think that those first 3 games they set up perfectly for Nico. I think he's going to throw for over 300 against Chat. I think the NC State game, if we all can recall 2012, I know that those are the down years of Derek Dooley, but they had a pretty good NC State game, NC State team that we matched up against then. And some quarterback named Tyler Bray, a California kid, torched that NC State team who had 2 All-American corners that year. So do we see a repeat of that, or do we see a laid back? If I know anything about Josh Heupel, and we know about Nico with Coach Jay, I'm thinking Squirrel White is about to have a career day, and Nico is going to throw for over 300 yards again. And therefore the start of the Heisman campaign.
Yeah, and
that's what I like is you got Chattanooga, NC State, and Kent State before you go on the road to play Oklahoma. I think that's huge, and I know some people are scared of NC State. I'm not, and I think those are 3 good tune-up games. But go ahead, Coach Jay.
No, all I was going to say is, you remember too, Nico's one of these kids who he can have an off passing game, right? Not that he has them often, but he can have an off passing game, throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for 4. He can have a game where he plays a half and puts up 5 touchdowns. Shoot, he throws really, really smoothly and can put up things really, really quickly. You think back to those old Oregon offenses that would score really, really quickly. I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. I think we're going to see Tennessee jump on teams pretty quickly when they get humming. And then you might get a couple games where, the first 3 series look kind of suspect, and then all of a sudden it catches fire and they put up 28 in a quarter and 15 in the next or something like that. You're going to get these outbursts of offensive production out of Nico pretty quickly. I think we start off quick against Chattanooga. Certainly, I think everyone here does. I'll say Nico plays the better part of 3 quarters and puts up 360. Let's go 3 in the air, 2 on the ground.
Did I say App State? Did I say App State instead of NC State?
Maybe.
If you did, I knew what you were talking about. I didn't.
Y'all
just catch it. So
y'all are just used to it. You're just used to it by now. Y'all just used to it. Man, I just think I like the way the schedule sets up to let him get comfortable, let him get his feet wet, let him get out there. And it's funny, like Coach Jay saying there, maybe he struggles through the air so he can put it together on the ground. Like so many people doubted Nico because of the bowl game. And it's like, do you understand? And Coach Jay brought it up. Shout out Coach Jay. If I'm going to regurgitate what you said, 100% in the red zone. Why was that? That's because Nico kept the football and the way he was able to get into the end zone with his legs. That was something that was missing with Joe Milton. And I think Joe Milton had talent with his legs. I think if he committed to running the football, I think he could have had success with his legs, but I don't think he wanted to. And Nico gives you that element. And if you're 100% in the red zone, I don't care what your completion percentage is. I don't care how many yards you throw for. You account for 3 touchdowns in the red zone with your legs. Guess what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and Nico had, and I'll leave it at this quick thought, and Coach tries to comment on it. But think about that real quick. Nico really didn't have an offensive line to speak of in that bowl game at all. Just no offensive line to speak of in that game, and no time with the ball. He was always on escape, but he's a good steward of the football at all times. You're going to see maybe even less picks than Hendon threw, man. The kid can just take care of the ball. And he's going to take what's given to him, right? He took what was given to him in the Iowa game, and that's what you want your quarterback to do. Let's not complain about a shutout ever.
And you didn't have 4 of your top 6 receivers.
There you go. Yeah.
You didn't have,
and he still looked great.
You didn't have Thornton. You didn't have Brew. You didn't have Brazil, and you didn't have Mike Matthews.
He looked, and he still looked good.
And he still looked good.
Yeah, I feel great about Nico.
And let's talk about paper, right? Everybody talks about Hendon Hooker. Joe's not Hendon Hooker. Joe's not. Guess what? Hendon Hooker's not Nico on paper. And I know we're talking about paper and numbers, and you got to go do it. You got to go do it at an elite level before you get that respect. But when you're looking at it on paper, Nico should be a better quarterback than Hendon. So the number 1 scoring offense in the country, almost 50 points a game, whatever it was. That was with Hendon, who was a 3-star, 4-star. Now you got the number 1 player in the country coming in to play quarterback for Josh Heupel.
Yep.
Sign me up.
And a veteran offensive line.
That's, man, and we'll talk about that, because I was going to say that's something that a lot of people are sleeping on. We're doubting, and I'm included in that because of the depth. But all those guys coming back was huge.
Yeah,
huge.
There's one thing too that I think Nico is going to do a little bit better than Hendon is I think Nico has the ability to slow down a fast offense a little bit better. Hendon sometimes would be guilty of jumping out to big leads, and then as soon as we stop playing that that quick football, that super fast football, we would struggle. I think Nico can slow the offense down a little bit better when he needs to, and then ramp it back up a little bit when he needs to. Just as overall speed of life or speed of the game is just a little more sound. But like you said, you're going to have to prove it on Saturday. Otherwise, Coach Jay looks like an idiot, and everyone, it don't matter unless you get it done in the SEC on Saturday. But I believe he will.
But that's why I love the comment so much. I'll play it again. I played a lot on intros. I love this comment because Nico knows it.
No, I know what I came here to do, and it's my job to go in there and get that done.
Like that's an alpha male. That's an alpha male. Like, right? Like, not aggressive, not over the top, not overbearing. It's I know what I was brought here to do. Now I got to go do it. I got to go prove it. He knows that. He knows that, and that fires me up. Let me catch up with you guys. You guys being very generous in the chat. We appreciate the super chats. Deuce for 5 says, y'all want to hear a hilarious rumor that I got told today? Hype has been talking to Arch about transferring here. Told about a colossally bad. I think this from a fake website.
Yes.
There's a lot of these overseas websites that are taking crap and posting them, and they probably got your credit card information, Deuce. I would probably pull your credit report and make sure that there's not credit card fraud. There are some weird things floating around. MG Wade for 5 saw an article about Coach Glenn Ellerby calling plays on offense. Is this cause for concern for Halsley? Is that true? There's no way that's true.
No,
that's got to be another overseas article.
He may, at most, he may be helping with the run scheme, but and that's just based off what the defensive line and front seven's giving them. But he ain't calling plays. Heupel or Halsley's calling plays because Halsley's up in the box. It's just not happening. I mean, Heupel is calling more plays than people know. I mean, I just don't think Halsley or Ellerby is the one calling majority of the plays.
Well, here you go. This tells you all you need to know. It's my buddy Dave Hooker that's so jealous that we have 26,000 subscribers, and he's an old man trying to figure out how to work the internet. So shout out Dave Hooker. We love you, brother. Ron the Don for 10 says, gentlemen, I'm ready. Should I do this in Ron's voice? Gentlemen, I'm ready. Let's go 2024. Have bubble wrap and caution tape, and then ball, run to the table and go undefeated. Ooh, wait. There will be heck to pay and a natty title coming with me. GB. Oh, I love Ron. Ron, you're the man. I'm so glad you're back around. I'm so glad that tells me it's almost football season that Ron the Don is in the house. Christopher Welsh for 5. Hey, coaches. I mean, I feel like
do we really?
Go ahead.
Hey, coaches, do we really lose what we lose on the O and D lines next year and still compete for a natty in 25? And why? Thank you. Great question. You want to take the offensive line, Coach?
Yeah, I'll take the offensive line.
Okay, go ahead.
Offensive line.
Let's start at left tackle. Or go ahead. Just do it how you want.
Hurd will be back, so left tackle will be back. Shalmumarov, if he proves himself at guard, he'll be there at left guard. We got a very good depth of recruits that we've worked at center, Vyson Lang, William Satterwhite. You got Big Ant and Nick Moore coming in, who are viable centers. And then you also got the transfer portal, who's always got the option of picking and putting in spaces where you feel you need to fill a spot. Right guard, tons of options there. And then right tackle.
Who do you like to come out of that? You thinking Aiden Bustle comes out of that? You thinking Ginther comes out of that?
If I'm picking right now, I'm actually going with Max Anderson.
Max Anderson out of there.
That's who I'm going with right now.
Absolutely.
Wait. At what position?
Right guard.
That right guard after Sprague leaves.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And then I'm going with David Sanders or Bennett Warren in right tackle.
Yeah, I think you could see that at right tackle. I think there's going to be an interesting development. We're going to have an interesting fight next season, in my opinion, at the tackle position between, Bennett Warren, David Sanders, Brian Grant, and Larry Johnson. Two are massive individuals who will be on that third year in the system. Can they make sense of things? Can they get that footwork and all that kind of thing together? Will be interesting. Bennett Warren is a massive human being. So that's going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, I think we have the talent on the offensive line. And of course, tight end, We're looking pretty flush there,
yeah.
man. We're looking really, really flush at tight end. Everyone I know really likes Ethan Davis. Holden Stace obviously looks like Miles Kitzelman was a diamond in the rough, and then Cole Harrison out of Cathedral High School in California. Good looking young tight end. Needs a little bit of time in the system, but can certainly come along. So yeah, I think we can. And like Coach Rice mentioned, that transfer portal is going to be open. I think we can find a center with either Bison Lang or Ant. You mentioned Ant too, or Nick Moore. Certainly meet that. So does Satterwhite. We'll see how they come. I like Sham at that left guard. I think he's going to win that spot flat out and become our left guard for some time to come. And I'll tell you what, when you got a big 6'7" left guard who's long like that and can move, Heupel system right next to Hurd, you certainly feel safe about that blind side for your quarterback. But defensive line, it's zero worry for me. It's like the offensive line, it's like, all right, we kind of got to play with it, mess around. But the defensive line, I mean, let's just talk about the weak side defense at end right now this year. Dom Bailey's going to be gone, but you got West, who a lot of us think he's really going to come on after that bowl performance. Jason Jenkins almost left because he's been putting in work, man. He put in work, and he looked like a starter. He played, they said, like he earned a starting spot in the spring. He was going to transfer out. He played so well. And then right behind Jenkins, you got Tyrese Weathersby, who had earned a starting spot last year before he got injured, or playing time last year. How's he going to come along? And that's why being deep is so important, guys, because when you got someone like a Weathersby, you can take your time with him now. You don't have to rush him back from an injury. He can take this year to kind of get his sea legs back from under him. Big O and Elijah Simmons leaving from that nose tackle position. We're going to be all right there, though. I feel like you got David Hobbs, Jamal Wallace, both those guys, man, insane speed. I know y'all are familiar with David Hobbs. Go back and check out Jamal Wallace's film. Super, super fast inside. Both big, fast guys can move in space. Norman Lott, Eason probably going to be gone, but Jackson Moy is an absolute dude. And then we got some dudes coming in behind. It'd be interesting to see how Nate Robinson pans out at that position. And of course, you guys know about James Pierce, but Joseph's coming on strong. Caleb Herring, and I've heard there's a certain new Leo that's about to get to campus very soon, named one Jordan Ross, who I fully expect to be on James Pierce type level. He's got some different tools and kind of eats the steak in a little bit different way, but can still slam that thing down, man. Good looking player. Our D line is absolutely loaded, man. I mean, I would have no problem. Go to that third spot, the third position.
Across the board. Look at that third.
Jenkins, Hobbs, Moy, and Herring. I don't feel bad about that D line.
That's a solid starting defensive line.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm never going to feel bad about the defensive line as long as Coach G and Coach Job. It's never going to be a concern for me. When their first year and second year and third year, even though our secondary struggled, you go look at our stats. We were top 3 in the conference in sacks and tackles for loss all 3 years. That's Coach G doing his work. And so that's something I'm just never going to be worried about.
Shout out to Uncle Kenny. My Uncle Kenny's here. My Uncle Kenny's here. Family's here. Shout out to Uncle Kenny, man. The future is bright. Like you look like you talking about looking at the 3 deep. Just look at Leo, man. James Pierce, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Herring. Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? Kidding me? Look, let's have some fun, man. I saw an article from 247 Sports, and they're kind of breaking it down day by day. The 10 most impactful names for the 2024 season. I want to kind of put a spin on that. We'll do it offensively, defensively, but let me catch up with the chat real quick. Vols fan for life. Well, let's start with this. Been a member for a year. Shout out Vol fan for life. We appreciate that. He also drops a $5 super chat. Says, what is up, guys? Love you guys. Love this show. I truly believe 24 is the start of the Vol Dynasty GBO. Shout out Vol fan for life. We appreciate the super chat. Wayne's in the house. Always good to see Wayne. He's an OG. Drops a 20 spot. Says, Pat, please. God bless, go Vols. That's it. Nothing to say. Just Pat, please. God bless and go Vols. We'll play Pat for Wayne.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Shout out to Wayne, $20 super chat. That's Orange Boy. We always play Pat on an Orange Boy. Top donation of the night. It's always good to see you in the chat, my friend. Let's start with the offense. Let's start with offense. Because we all like offense better than defense, right, Coach Rice?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought so. So let's go top three. Let's go top three. Top three most important players for 2024. So, Coach Rice, you just kind of lead this thing off. Kick this thing off. Top three most important players offensively.
Let's do top three most important players not named Nico, because obviously we know Nico's number one. Is that fine?
We can do that. We can do that because he's clearly. I don't think
he's clearly the most important player on the team. Yeah.
I think in college football, I don't think there's anybody in college football that has more pressure on them to succeed than Nico does in 2024. So we'll go top three outside of Nico.
Yeah. All right. Number one, Dylan Sampson, because he's going to have to carry the load at running back. Dude's going to be a beast. I think we got some potential reserves that, can be reserve guys that can carry 4 to 5 times a game. Cam Seldon, if he's healthy, now that changes. But pending Cam Seldon's health, I want to see what Peyton Lewis does, but I think it'll be his sophomore year before you really see him come on. So Dylan Sampson being number one, Sham Umarov at left guard. Can he hold down that left guard position? Because that's the only position on the offensive line, you think about it, that is in question. That's got that starting spot that you got Lampley and him and Carrick really fighting for that left guard spot to start camp. I know me and Coach Jay both think Umarov fits really well there. So I'm going to go with him, number 2, as far as offense. And number 3, I'm going to go Chris Brazil. And because we know what we're getting with Brew. We know that dude is a dog. We know he's going to be the most physical wide receiver on the field each and every play. We know we're going to get what we're going to get out of Squirrel because he's just fast as elusive, elite slot guy. What can that other outside wide receiver bring us that we've seen be very dynamic at times in Tennessee's offense? I know Dante Thornton may take some of the shine from him a little bit because we obviously saw where he grew once he moved to the outside last year. But Chris Brazil, for me, is the third most important guy because I want to see what this offense is when you actually have another dynamic wide receiver like we've had in the past on the opposite side of the field of our Twins side. Of course, obviously, Brew ends up on the single side sometimes, but a lot of the times they leave that slot guy on the same side as Brew because we all know Brew's the best wide receiver blocker in the league. So let's see what those 3 guys do. I do think those are the 3 most important guys when it comes to our success. Now, obviously, Hurd's going to be important. Campbell, all those guys are going to be important. But for us to be where we want to be, those 3 guys are going to have to step up, which I'm not worried about Dylan Sampson. But those 3 guys are going to have to step up and take that step to where Tennessee can be 2022 or even better.
Gotcha. Okay. Good segue. I'm going to go ahead and maybe I love it, by the way, but I'm going to try to think about it just a little bit differently. Look, Cooper is kind of an obvious one. I won't go to him. But I am going to go with Lance Hurd. You won't want to protect that blind side, right? That's going to open up some of that deep passing that should help us. But I think one thing is going to be key to it, too. I get the comment that someone had in there, will he be the same, Brew? I think he will based off everything we've seen in his offseason work. But I'm going to take Brew, and I'll tell you why. Nico is the kind of quarterback, unlike Joe, he can always hit that possession wide receiver. He's always going to put this. We know this offense stumbles when you get a false start, when you get that holding call early, when you throw a bubble screen out to the side and the guy misses a block, so you get no yards instead of 6 yards. Brew can run that little hitch, start you off with 6 yards. The offense is up and moving. This team needs to go sideline to sideline to sideline to stretch you out so that we can attack vertically. I think Brew sets the table in that regard for Dante Thornton, for Squirrel White, for Chris Brazil, and really sets up also that blocking for Squirrel in space on that edge, on that bubble screen as well. And he's a leader, man. He's a captain. He's got that dog in him. I think the offense can kind of take that mantra up his fight. And then for the last one, I'm going to go with Ethan Davis. I think Ethan Davis can bring something kind of new to that tight end position. Princeton Fant was great. He did a lot of different things, but Ethan Davis can almost be another wide receiver out on the field, another Brew McCoy. If he's able to slide in and block at an elite level this season, I think the tight end position is super special for Tennessee's offense this season. But listen, all these good choices, certainly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and then Holden Stays is going to be very mad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was hard to pick between them.
Both of them, it's 1A, 1B. I mean, them two, and then Kitselman's going to get some shine because, I mean,
I agree.
He's the best blocker of the three. You'll see him in a lot of red zone situations.
Yep.
So I think the tight end position's gold, and as long as they stay healthy. And you getting in the next year, you have Brame and wink wink and Jack Van Doorslayer. We got some good because all of them are coming back besides Kissel. So we got some good promise in the tight end room.
And it will also be interesting to see if Cam Seldon, when he does come back, as big as he is and as good of a receiver as he is, are we able to run some empty finally when Cam Seldon's out in the field later this year? You know, can we contract and expand with Cam Seldon out there and kind of add a little extra dimension to this Josh Heupel offense?
Well, I think you see it with Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson for a career is averaging 12 yards per catch. You don't see that out of the running back position.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I'm going to take the easy ones. I'm going to take the easy ones off the top because you skipped them. I think Cooper Mays is huge.
Yeah.
Health wise, right? Like you can look at Chris Brazil, you can look at Dante Thornton and say, what are we going to get from these guys? I think for Coop, it's health. He's got to stay healthy because I think he's crucial. You look behind him, Bison Lang, William Satterwhite, those guys have question marks, so much question marks that we're talking about portal. Do you go to the portal for a center in 2025? I don't know. Coop's got to stay healthy. So he's outside of Nico, I think he's maybe the most important piece of the offense. You lose Coop, I think we've got problems in 2024. So Coop's right up there at the top. Coach Jay started to touch on one. I'm like, can y'all leave me a little meat on the bone? Y'all leave me a little something. I throw y'all softballs, and you're like, let me rattle off 17 players. So Boogie's got nothing left to talk about. But for me, look, I think that Dylan Sampson's going to be the dude. It's Cam Seldon. It's the dude behind him because I think what Josh Heupel wants to do with running backs is that 1-2 punch, and we've seen it his 3 years he's been here. Is Cam Seldon healthy? I think that's the question because I think he is going to be a dude. I think Cam Seldon's going to be that guy. Yeah, he's not proven it yet, and people are already starting to doubt him. It's like let's pump the brakes. He's young. He's young. Let's calm down. I think Cam Seldon's going to be fine, but he's the second guy beside Cooper Mays that I'm going to be looking at. And then I'm going Lance Hurd, man. Again, probably taking the easy pick, but Lance Hurd got a lot of buzz, 5-star recruit, big time ad in the transfer portal for Glenn Ellerby. You're looking at that's the guy that is protecting Nico's blind side. That is the most important guy on the offensive line outside of Cooper Mays. Is Lance Hurd that dude? Probably need to turn Coach Jay's camera off. I can't turn Coach Jay's camera off. Is Lance Hurd that dude? Is he a bust? Is he legit? So give me Cooper Mays, give me Cam Seldon, and give me Lance Hurd. We're going to shift gears. We're going to talk about the defense. We're talking about some of the most important guys, but I want to catch up with you guys in the chat. Ron the Don dropped a $5 super chat, said, I repeat, do not believe in bullying, but I want to see the offense on the other sideline cry. I mean, go boo-hoo. I want this defense to wreak havoc. Shout out Ron the Don. I love Ron the Don. Cody Branch been a member for 4. Is that the longest reigning member of all time? Have we ever seen 40 months?
A long time.
I don't know that we've
good.
ever seen 40 months. Shout out Cody. Says in 2024 we should get 2 games deep in the playoffs if the secondary is any good. We're about to switch gears and talk about the defense. Ron the Don, member for 21 months. I need to up my membership. The more the merrier. It's almost game time. Don't let me upgrade alone. Let's go, Big Orange. We can do this. Bite somebody. He says that. He says, y'all go join the channel. And guess what happens? Josh comes in right behind him and joins the channel. And then I saw his comment. He said, I'm new around here, but I want to show my support. You guys can do the same. Hit that join button. It's only $1. You want to come on. We're about to fire back up the fan call-in shows. We do it Talkin VAWLS Elite and higher. They get the link first. You want to come on every Sunday night at 7 o'clock and talk Tennessee football. Think about joining at the Talkin VAWLS Elite level, but every dollar counts. You can join for just $1. Brain Chapman for 15 months. Remember, for 15 months. Love when you all do this. Before I turn 30, 35 now, I never cared about the names, but you all make it interesting and enjoyable. Shout out, Brain. I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment. That's very kind of you. Foul Ming gifts 1 Talkin VAWLS membership. You guys can give them away. Give them away to people in the chat. We appreciate it. Thank you, Foul Ming, for the support. Can't wait to destroy you on the Talkin VAWLS EA Sports College Football Dynasty. Also, you guys want to show a little love, go check out. I love this shirt right here. It looks so clean. I say this every time we put out a shirt, and then I buy the shirt. I'm like, this is clean. Cruton with Boogie and the coaches. It looks like the Coca-Cola Classic font. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's in the description. You can get that Cruton shirt. If you're in the chat and you're lurking, you're like, man, I love this show. I love these guys. I feel like I know them. I feel like you guys YouTube? What, like, I know Coach Jay watches everything on YouTube. Coach Rice, are you a YouTube guy? Like, do you watch a lot of
everything?
I love YouTube.
I've literally watched the last 3 days. I've watched Pittsburgh 2022, the whole game. I watched Alabama 2022. I watched LSU 2022, and then last year's Kentucky game.
I just watched the LSU one too. That's cool.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to put out a vibe here. I'm trying to say, if you're watching a YouTuber, not YouTube content, YouTuber, you feel like you know that person. Sorry. You feel like you like your boys, right? Like your friends, like you. And I feel like that's the vibe we have here. Like, people feel like, oh man, I know Boogie and Coach Jay and Coach Rice. Those are my boys that come hang out with them. But sometimes you lurk in the chat and you don't comment. So we created this shirt. Let people know you're a lurker. If you're a lurker, say hello in the chat. Just put a GBO. But we got all kinds of shirts. Cult of 8, Talkin VAWLS letter theme shirts, Colt shirts, FUGA, Buck Fama. All of it's there. We got an election coming up, by the way. And I don't want to get too political, but there's only one vote, and the vote is Boogie Dauber in 2024. This is the perfect time to go pick up this shirt. Again, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Links in the description. Appreciate all the support. The ambassador has been a member for 23 months. Shout out Trey. Christopher Welch going big. He's giving out five Talkin VAWLS memberships. That is very generous. We appreciate the support. All right. Oh, yeah, I'm firing up. Wayne says, where the heck's Michelle at? Like, lurkers getting exposed. Michelle's not in the chat. What is going on? And then everybody, of course, is getting political in the chat. I'll allow it. You guys have a voice. All right, let's switch gears. Let's jump back over. All you got to do is follow Coach Rice on Twitter.
What?
Follow Coach
all
Rice
your political news.
All
Rocky Top Tom,
yeah.
right? One of the two.
Yeah,
what?
you can follow Coach Rice and Rocky Top Tom for all your political needs. So funny.
Yep.
So funny. All right, let's talk defense. Coach Jay, you get to kick it off because you're the defensive mastermind around here. Give me three guys that if Tennessee's going to be successful in 2024, these guys are going to have to step up.
Yeah, I'll keep James off my list just for obvious reasons, but
that's fair. That's the Nico move by Coach Rice.
Yeah,
so I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. But number one, I'm going to take Arian Carter. It is someone I think is going to be a linchpin of this defense. I'm comfortable with Keenan Peely. I know we haven't seen him a lot, but he's really, really smart, Keenan Peely. He's a good linebacker. I've seen enough of his film that I feel warm and fuzzy about him. Arian Carter, when he got hurt last year, it had just kind of started to slow down for him and was making sense to him. He was closing down on the screens inside. He was closing down on the slants. He was learning that he needs to settle in his wall-offs a little bit deeper. He was just doing everything well. He was defending the run. He started to get a little lighter on his feet. I thought he came into the beginning of the season a little bit heavy, but he was able to shed some of that off as the year went on. And he's a kid that obviously I've been on record on the Talkin VAWLS network of speaking very highly of Arian. I think we're going to get a huge season out of him. And listen, last year teams were able to really take advantage of putting a certain linebacker we had into conflict. Arian Carter can solve that problem for us right out of the gate. So Arian Carter is going to be one of them for us. The other position I'm going to go ahead and take is the left cornerback. I'm going to take Jermod McCoy, All-American freshman out of the no longer Pac-12, Oregon State. Stud on the field. I think he can be a shutdown corner for us and really lock that up. And then at the other cornerback, I'm going to take for my third one, Ricky Gibson. I think we found another one there, guys. Coach Jay thinks that we have finally solved our problem at cornerback. My concern is at the safety position more than the cornerback position. But I think with two lockdown cornerbacks, you can force the ball deep. And with the defensive line that we have, I think that's all we're going to need to do to enable us in order to stop opposing offenses for the most part. And I tried to leave a little meat on the bone for you guys there. So you're welcome.
All right. So I would like real quick to point out, Tennessee fan in the chat, we have some DBs. We have some DBs. He's called them out a couple times. We got some DBs that are come through with the transfer portal. Yeah.
Finally.
I do think y'all will be pleasantly surprised with how good our secondary is this year. This ain't a biased, sunshine pumper statement here. I really do think our secondary takes a step this year because we're faster, we're more athletic, we're longer. That's another. When you make a perfect defensive back, you look at length and speed and instincts. Those are the three main things that you want, and a little bit of bulldog in him. So I think Jermod McCoy, we've seen spots where Ricky Gibson loves being that physical up at the line press, getting in your face cornerback. And I think Jordan Thomas is going to be what's the needle in a haystack type thing where he's been kind of overlooked. Well, I really think he's going to come on this season and prove some people wrong. And I think even though I think it's going to keep hard to keep Boo Carter off the field, I think he's going to play. Jordan Thomas is going to play his tail off. So the defensive backs, I know we need to move on to the positions, but y'all don't sleep on the defensive backs. I think that with a great pass rush comes with a great can bring on a better secondary. So let's just see what goes hand in hand with this defense in year 4 of Tim Banks and Josh Heupel.
Yeah, and to answer Tennessee fans, no, it doesn't seem like we're starting a freshman at safety. I think Boo Carter is about the only one who's got a chance to start at some point during the season at star. And at safety, though, it'd probably be someone like Andre Turrentine or Jacoby Thomas. Even though I think we got a good one in Edris Farouk, I don't think you see him in his freshman season. No. I think he's going to take a little while to develop.
And don't sleep on John Slaughter. That dude.
Another good one.
I've seen him in the chat a couple times.
Yeah, he's had family in the chat a lot. Every time his name comes up, they're like, put some respect on his name.
He is a very good safety from the things I've seen in the spring game, and just I love his the way I think he's a leader that's not talked about a lot, even though he's a not top of the string guy when we talk about depth chart.
But he's young. He's young.
He's very young, but I think he's a very good vocal leader from things I've seen on social media and things I've seen in the spring game where I've seen him talking in the huddles and stuff. So let's put some respect on him too. So secondary, I think will definitely be will be a brighter spot this year than what Tennessee fans have come accustomed to in the years past.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a youth movement, right? You got a lot of young guys like Boo Carter, like Idris Farouk, like Marcus Gorey Jr., like John Slaughter, and then you even Ricky Gibson, right? I mean, he's a sophomore, right?
Yeah,
Gibson's a sophomore,
young.
locking down like they're young. And it's like we had this veteran leadership, but they like all we ever did was complain about them. They're not fast enough. They're not good enough to play in the SEC. So the coaching staff's like, it's a complete overhaul. And they bring in Jacoby Thomas, Andre Turrentine, gold jacket, green jacket. Who really cares? He's now going to start at so for me, like the safety position, is Jacoby Thomas ready to make that jump from MTSU to the University of Tennessee? Is Andre Turrentine, gold jacket, green jacket, is he ready? He transferred from Ohio State. I think he's got the potential. I'm confident in the corners, man. I sat here and listened to Coach Shea ramble on about Jermon McCoy, and I'm like, okay, this dude coming in as a sophomore is going to be a lockdown corner. I think McCoy is going to be a dude. I think Ricky Gibson has already shown you that he's a dude. So the question mark for me is going to be the safeties, and then I'll just jump in with Coach Shea, Arian Carter. I'm excited about him. He's young. We'll see what he looks like. I'm just going two, boys. I think this defense is going to be good. I think as excited as we are about Nico and this offense in 2024, I think this defense is going to be a game changer. The defensive line, we already talked about how deep it is. Look at the 3 deep, like Coach Jay said earlier. Give me Jason Jenkins, David Hobbs, Jackson Moy, and Caleb Herring, and let's roll. Let's ride with that group. But guess what? That's the third string. We're so deep. The linebacker room. I know, like you look at linebacker. Caleb Perry maybe be the only question mark. I think Edwin Spillman's ready to go as a freshman. Yeah. He looks like an SEC player. Like he looked like I remember being at the spring game, Talkin VAWLS meet and greet. Me and Nelson sitting there, and Edwin Spillman walks down the field. I look at him, I go, that dude's an SEC linebacker. He goes, Boogie. He's like, Boogie, he's been here 2 weeks. I said, exactly. Yeah, I think this defense is going to be a difference maker in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I'll talk to you right after. That D line, man, that's the kind. This D line, the depth in it is what you dream of, man. Because I'll tell you what, if I were a Coach Rice or an offensive coach looking at this D line, I'd be thinking, let it go early, man. We need to put this team in a hole, because if we got to win in the fourth quarter when my offensive line is tired, we're going to get whooped, because Tennessee's defensive line is going to be fresh every single time in the fourth quarter, and these offensive lines we're facing will not be fresh. So Tennessee, you want to beat them, you're going to have to beat that D-line early. I'm telling you right now, that depth is going to be scary when your offensive line is sucking gas late in the fourth.
And it goes hand in hand with what we talked about, Nico, those first 3 games. When we get into SEC play, we're going to have a fully rested, fully energized defensive line that's ready for the and we get a bye week after that 4th game. That's the other crazy thing. Going into the rest of the SEC schedule, that defense and line and linebacker group is going to be so ready and improved, especially the linebacker. Well, we talk about the young talent, T-Lander, Carter, Perry, Burns, Spillman, go on and on. These guys are just going to improve, just like we say Nico's going to improve from week to week. That secondary and that linebacker crew, the defensive line is the most experienced group probably in the country. Because you can't replicate 5th and 6th year guys who have been starters for years. So as far as important guys go, you nailed the one guy that I was going to hammer, and that was Arian Carter. Him and T-Lander, 1A, 1B, with the opposite of Keenan Peely, which T-Lander and Carter, they're at times will be on the field at the same time. Because the way they rotate, the linebacker position is rotational. It's not you're set at this position, you're set at this position. That's not how Tennessee does it. So T-Lander, Carter, Turntine and Jacoby Thomas will be my next two, because you hammered it. We all three are glowing praises about our top two corners. I think that they're got very high potential, will be very good in our scheme. And when you got James Pierce scaring the quarterback's piss out of himself, I mean, it just makes our corners better. So Turntine and Jacoby Thomas, John Slaughter, Will Brooks, whoever it is, Boo Carter, whoever it is that's back there at safety, the safety is the safety position, because you're preventing the big plays, and you keep those 10-yard games from being 30, 40-yard games.
Is this the top 15 defense, Coach Rice?
I'm gonna say top 20.
If it's top 15,
if it's top 15,
there's no doubt we're going to the playoff.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
think they can be. I think they can be. We'll see. I kind of put them around that 20 to 23, 24 line, but I think they can be. If they figure out that safety.
18 to 20 is where I think our ceiling is like 10 to 15. I think our floor and it's a high floor. I think it's like 28 to 30.
Where did we end up last year?
22.
Okay. And it's gotten better every year. Every year the defense has gotten better. And that's the wild card, man. It's like I look at this defense and I just start looking at my chops, because I know this offense is going to score points. If we can go out and score points with that guy.
And look at who we play. Our schedule sets up perfectly for us this year.
You beat Oklahoma. You're 6-0.
Yeah,
you're 6-0 coming out of the first half. Am I crazy, or you guys agree? I know, Coach Jay. You worried about that NC State game?
I mean, I worry about too.
I got it as a win.
I got them winning, but that first quarter,
I'm so spinning the narrative on you. So
I know.
Everybody thinks that you believe Tennessee loses that game.
No, I'll say NC State's better than people think. I don't think Tennessee loses the game.
No,
it's kind of that simple. Yeah.
Wouldn't a challenge be good though? Right there.
I do think it will be good. I do think it will be good.
Little trial.
That first quarter is going to be so important in that game.
I'll tell you what about that NC State game. We're going to find out about this secondary in that game.
Yeah.
You will get your answer right then. And that doesn't mean, once again, you get better week to week, guys. So whatever happens in that game, you're not going to be the final judgment on the secondary. But that secondary is going to be good. Listen, that NC State wide receiver court is loaded.
Yeah.
And they got a quarterback that can spin it, and they got a veteran offensive line. I don't think that offensive line can handle our defensive line still, which I think will be their downfall in that game. But you're going to find out about that secondary specifically early in the game, like Coach Rice said.
Yep.
Let me catch up with these last couple. Josh upgraded his member. He's like, I'm new around here. I'm going to be a member. That's not good enough. I'm going to upgrade my membership. So shout out, Josh. We appreciate it. Gary Sisk also gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Appreciate that, Gary. I knew you guys were going to deliver. I knew when Shady was like, hey, man, we can't come on. We got scheduling conflict. I was like, what do? We go live, and we talk to 250 people right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. We love you guys. We appreciate the support. I don't know what the schedule is going to look like this week. Definitely going to be live on Tuesday night. Guess what, boys? I replaced one little cable on the capture card. And guess what? Now I've got audio from EA Sports College Football. So the Tuesday night stream, after all these years of nonsense and blaring audio from the TV, it's going to be clean and crisp, and we're going to have a good time. So the audio should be dialed in. I say that. It'll probably be broken on Tuesday. But we're going to go live Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Come hang out for that. We'll also be going live on Saturday covering the live commitment of Shady Hayward. We'll do that right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. We'll see what Shady's schedule looks like. His uncle said we'll try to get together, see what we can do. So I don't know if he comes on before the commitment. Maybe he comes on after the commitment. We'll see what happens there. But stay dialed in. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Kaner is going to be in the house 10 days from now. Fall camp kicks off. Messaged him last night. He said, Boogie, I'm down to go. So he's going to jump on here, and we're going to kick things off. Fall camp 2024. Boys, we're 10 days away. It's full steam ahead. Talking all things Tennessee football all day, every day. Recruiting updates will continue to come your way. The dead period is almost over. So get in where you fit in. If you're not subscribed, fix that now. If you want to be a member, you want to support what we do, you like the videos, you like the live streams, you like the community dynamic, whatever it is, you want to support us, hit the join button. We would greatly appreciate it. But if not, hit the thumbs up. It's quick, free, and easy. If you're watching the replay, jump in the comments. Let's talk about it, because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. He's Coach Jay. He's Coach Rice. My name's Boogie Bentley.
Horse down, baby.
Yeah, there's only
no penalty. No penalty.
We'll just do this.
It hurts my feet.
Go Big Orange.
With Texas coming into the league now, which school has the real claim to being able to call itself UT?
There's only one real UT. One right shade of orange.
That we call home.